The College Football Experience Power 5 Coaching Hires episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Kalshi. Yes, make real money predicting sports. Kalshi is available in all 50 states, and you get $20 free with the promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi, Kalshi, promo code SGPN. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
Hey, this is LeGarrette Blunt, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Football Experience 2026 Power 5 Coaching Hires episode. As yes, it's been a couple weeks. We had to let Indiana celebrate that victory. I mean JMU, but celebrate that victory, and we said, hey, give it a week or two. Let's focus on college hoops. Hopefully you're checking out the college basketball experience as we're deep in that, but we know we got episodes to do this, and it's almost, there's so much news going on as opposed to say 15 years ago when you'd hear nothing besides like signing day. There's so much news. There's a portal episode we want to do. There's group of 5 coaches. There's, FCS coaching hires. There's a lot of shit we want to do with the college football experience and the FCS college football experience. Subscribe to both if you're not. YouTube.com/the college experience. But I felt like, how do we do this just smoothly? Because there's just so much fucking news. There's court cases going on all over the place, man. Like I can't even keep track. It's like Oxford, Mississippi, Knoxville, Tennessee, Miami, Florida. Durham, North Carolina. Like just, I honestly can't even keep track of all the court cases, which we have to, at some point maybe even do that one bores me. I don't even want to do that one, but I feel like it's almost so substantial these days that you need to. But how you doing, bro? Well, wait a second. I guess I should introduce myself. It's been a minute doing football. Yeah. My name is Colby Swigga, Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
Nobody knows nothing. Somebody knows. Double the price, but no one touches Dundee.
It's been a minute, what, 2 weeks? It feels like a long time.
Yeah.
Feels like a long time, but only 2 weeks. Vacation time, now it's back to football season. Oh boy, it's always football season here at SGPN and the College Football Experience. Shout out to the chat. Once again, come be a part of this, youtube.com/the college experience. I am joined by my co-host, who is also the host of the College Basketball Experience. Give it up for former staffer at Austin Peay with the Governors, South Carolina with the Gamecocks, and West Virginia with the Mountaineers, Ryan McIntyre, a.k.a. Malzahn. Mac, what's up, man?
What's up, brother? Yes, good to be talking football again. I know we are knees deep, elbows deep, whatever the fucking term is, in college hoops right now, but it's always college football season.
Well, for you, I thought you were going to say pussy deep because you moved back to Morgantown. I feel like right there, that just starts right there. So,
Mac tonight! Come on, make it Mac tonight!
All right, so we have a lot of coaching hires in the Power 5. Before I get there, there's a couple things news-wise that I want to touch on, but in general, man, how's it been just trying to keep up with all the football news while mixing basketball at the same time?
I'd be lying if I said it isn't tough. But I mean, when you follow enough Twitter accounts, a lot of the guys are tweeting the same thing. And then I know we've actually had some pressers recently. Like I saw Lane Kiffin was doing a presser. What was it, today or yesterday? and just other coaches. Asal Signetti was on an interview, just talking about his portal class and what their schedule going forward. But it's definitely the optimism time of year where everybody. Sorry, Lou Holtz over here.
I was about to say.
Everybody's excited about their team because everybody's 0-0.
Well, I don't get rain man cold, but they're counting.
That's what happens in early February. And by the way, we want to send our love and best wishes to Coach Holtz. From what I hear, he's getting better. So let's get this guy, get the stem cell injections. Let's get him living for 200, 300 years. Let's go. Like one of those turtles in the Galapagos Islands. All right. Well, look. We're going to start off with a little topical news because today, and I know we're the FBS, this is the college football experience on the FBS, but we cover the FCS as well. And I think this news is kind of fitting for all of the sport. Slideshow. We got slides and everything. YouTube.com/the college experience here. Do you know how to make our faces bigger there?
Shit.
I feel like I know how to, but I forget. Let me see here.
Customize.
I think it's customized and then size.
Yeah.
There we go. We go. Yep. Once again, so look, we got news out of Missoula, Montana. Bobby Hauck late in the February 4th today announces he's stepping down from Montana as head coach. And this is a guy that's won a lot of games. Obviously, they're in the Final Four this year. He was overall 166 and 92. The reason why I bring up some FBS fans might be like, why the fuck are you talking about Montana? Montana plays at an FBS level and has for a long time. And the guy has been a very successful coach. Now, obviously he failed when he was at UNLV. Got him to just one bowl, but I mean, shit, that was probably one of their only bowl games for like any coach, at UNLV for a good amount of time, short of John Robinson. He steps down, Mac, and I want to play this video because this is you would think after making the Final Four last year, losing the Brawl of the Wild in the Final Four of the FCS playoffs, you're like, man, if they re-up, they're right there. They're knocking on the door for a natty. They played for a natty a couple of years ago, but this was his press conference here.
The dealing with agents and the transient nature of this and the lack of forward thinking by young people, which it's never been a strong suit for centuries for young people. But now when they've got adults pushing them and pulling them in different directions, and I kind of got tired of all that, dealing with agents and the transient nature of it. So, I mean, this wasn't like, I don't know if you said, did you just say straw that broke the camel's back? There was nothing like that. This has been residual.
I mean, I think that is fitting, regardless of whether you're talking D3, D2, whatever, college hoops, college baseball. But Bobby Hauck steps down. Your thoughts with what he was saying, and I know you were in the coaching industry, so you've seen a lot of the older heads say "fuck this," and now you can add Bobby Hauck to that list. I was very shocked. There's no way he planned this because this happened February 4th. You would have think this would have happened right after that loss in the Brawl of the Wild. Yeah,
or right before the season, so that he would control that it would be his guy getting the job. But it sounds like they're going to promote within either way, regardless. But I'm not surprised at all when any of these older heads step down. It's not what they signed up for 20, 30 years ago. Whether you think it's right or wrong, it's just when you've made your money already, it's like, it's already a pain in the ass coaching 18 to 22-year-olds. Now you factor in that they're making a lot of money, and there's different people in their ear. I don't blame any of these guys for stepping down. It's not surprising to me at all.
Yeah.
Great run by him.
Great run, great coach. It's a shame he never got the natty. He knocked on the door so many times.
Yeah.
A big upset. Remember they knocked off the Washington Huskies a couple of years ago. Just one of the better FCS wins over the past decade. The interim head coach is Bobby Kennedy, not to be confused with the Kennedy that got shot in Los Angeles. But Bobby Kennedy is is like a longtime assistant of like 30 years. He's been, former Kirk Ferentz guy. It was coached at Colorado, coached at a bunch of different schools over the years. He's a Northern Colorado grad, so Big Sky, very familiar with the scenery there. But Bobby Kennedy is the new head coach. I'm not sure if that's an interim tag or just for this year, because that's the one thing about Bobby Hauck. He kind of gave them a tough spot as far as how to hire, who you're going to hire. It's February 4th, but Bobby Kennedy there named the head coach currently for the Montana Grizzlies this upcoming season. Other news within the sport. I mean, I'm crossing my fingers, Mac. I'm crossing my fingers. Today, East Carolina met with Mr. Beast, who I had no idea who the fuck this guy was, really, right? I honestly did. I was like, who the hell is this? But honestly, so I guess on a mid-major pod, I believe it was like the Marshall pod, they said like they'd love to see Mr. Beast do this. This is back on like December 15th, right? Or something like that, December 17th.
Yeah.
Well, on his own Instagram yesterday, he put out like, hey, should I donate $100 million to East Carolina football?
Yes.
Dude, today East Carolina met with him. Stephen Igo has reported this. So I'm telling you, I'm about to buy season tickets with East Carolina. But your thoughts on the Pirate, dude? I don't think people realize, like, I have no idea whether to believe this guy or not. No, he grew up in Greenville, though.
Okay.
He grew up in Greenville, so that was like the one ticket in the town.
Okay.
Dude, if this happens, like, this is gigantic. We'd be the number one football school in North Carolina from a money point of view.
Yep.
I mean, this is what we've been waiting for in college football. People have been saying this. The guy's a billionaire. Were you familiar with Mr. Beast? I had no idea who the fuck this guy was.
No, I didn't.
Right?
I'd heard his name just because it's a catchy nickname, Mr. Beast. So shout out to him. But no, I had not been following Mr. Beast content.
Dude, I'm about to subscribe to all of his shit. Yeah. Right? I'm about to subscribe to all of his shit. I'm very excited. I can't believe they actually met with him, because part of me is like, man, don't fuck with my emotions as an ECU fan. $100 million to ECU football they'd be like the new Texas Tech.
What if he just gives like 20 million?
Yeah, no, I want him to give 100 million, because that is ridiculous. But 20 million would be, look, Vince McMahon's an alum. I know he's gave us like 7 or 8 million one time. But this would be amazing. And the fact that ECU wasted no time by meeting with him today, I'm just telling you, please, let's make this work. Let's come together. Where's that Beatles song? Come together right now. Oh, for Mr. Beast. All right.
This would be hilarious.
Dude, tell me, damn well this would be one of the funniest fucking stories. And the best thing about it was it all of a sudden, like, NC State and North Carolina and Duke and Wake and Charlotte would feel all this pressure within the state. Mm-hmm. You wonder. I mean, look, ECU's a gigantic school. They could probably get into the ACC with this.
They get into like the Big 12 too.
When you think long term, like what having a billionaire back your school, we've seen it before. SMU in the 80s, or recently Cody Campbell at Texas Tech. This could be game changing, and I'm telling you, you let this happen, my season tickets are paid for right away.
Who says money can't buy happiness?
100%. Money will buy my happiness right fucking here, dude.
Dude,
right here.
We'd be at Sup Dogs all the time.
Oh my gosh, dude. We would be there. Not like, I don't think people realize. You think I'm obnoxious with ECU now? You let $100 million come in. The party is starting. All right. The party is fucking starting. I'm on a group chat with all my ECU buddies. I mean, you should see the text message. We're like kids at Christmas right now saying, please let this happen. Please let this fucking happen. If this happens, we're going wild.
I hope. I really hope it does.
Yeah. I can't. Beast. I can't. Come on, Mr. Beast. Let's go. Let's make Greenville the fucking place to be in all of college football. You can do it. Yes, G Vegas, baby. Also, we're talking about schools potentially getting rich. What about schools that are broke? Rutgers announced over the past 2 weeks that, I don't even know how this happens.
what was the point of the Big Ten move?
That's what I'm saying. Rutgers University Athletic Department has reported a record-breaking $78 million deficit for the 2024-25 season or year. So when you add that on top of everything, they are, I believe, like in the $200 million in debt.
Is that the worst job in America?
They say their athletics has run at a $516 million deficit since joining the Big Ten.
Good.
Somebody make this make so. Here, I read an article about this. So they're I think what they did by joining the Big Ten is they invested in all of their their football stadium, their basketball stadium, their locker rooms, their baseball field, all this shit.
Yeah.
So that is part of it, and you got to think that if they can just stay the course, they should be able to, with the Big Ten getting their next TV deal. You would think they'd be able to work their way out of this thing. But you also worry that in 10 years, maybe the Big Ten looks to delete teams. You know what I mean? Like at some point, Ohio State and Michigan are saying, why are we splitting the same amount of income with Rutgers? Right? So I think it's a very pivotal 10 years, but your thoughts on how were you? I was actually pretty taken back by this because just the fact they joined the Big Ten, I thought like they were going to be in I looked at it as like from the other schools like Oregon State or Washington State or even some of the Big 12 or ACC schools like, damn, Rutgers got floated a life raft and the other ones didn't. Your thoughts?
What was the point of the Big Ten move? It was just going to make them more broke. Go back to the Big East. At least you have regionality and you have at least your brand. It makes sense though. I mean, I know they're getting more money, but their expenses have gone up. Their travel is out of control, and they don't get good crowds there outside of like the Friday night games.
You would think though, Texas Tech's the perfect example. This is a new day and age. You would think someone there would just be able to say, this is a new day and age. Indiana just won. I heard Urban Meyer talk about this, that Rutgers, he thinks like has the potential of what Indiana did. Now, he said this before he found out they were in major debt. Yeah. But, you would think, I just think it's a new day and age. You would just think New Jersey in that area. You don't have any competition.
What if the alum, though, are like, I'm out on this. I don't like playing UCLA and USC and Washington and Oregon and all these Midwest schools. Like the regionality team is fucking Maryland.
Well, they have to stick to it now, or Penn State, right? They have to stick to it now because you've thrown so much money into building up your facilities. So like regression, if you're thrown to the AAC or something, you're not going to be able to sustain that. You're not going to be able to get out of the debt. Rutgers broke. Now, the best part about this, Mac,
it's not as bad as the other one.
Yes, Florida State said, "Oh, hold my beer." Florida State, who we deem Saudi Arabia State on this show because they were screaming about how broke they were about 5 years ago, and then all of a sudden they were able to get Mike Norvell, and then an awesome transfer portal class. They should have went to the college football playoffs. I know the committee fucked them, but they were able to get like great transfer portal classes back-to-back years, and you thought, man, the Saudi Arabian money, which had been rumored. Has really paid off for them to get out of debt. Well, now Florida State, I don't even know how this pot. Now, I should preface this by saying they did a renovation to Doak Campbell Stadium there. I imagine that is probably a lot of it, but also, so it's a similar vein with Rutgers, but also they battled the ACC for the rev. For their shares, like based on performance, and they won against the ACC, but the problem is Florida State's been terrible since, so they're not even getting the best of the money in the ACC. They actually have hurt their chances. From what I'm reading here, they are $437 million in debt for the year 2025. What?
Not very good. Not very good. And they kind of told us that they were broke, but it's just we didn't realize how broke they were.
So that's just the athletic department. Overall, they're $617 million in debt. Holy fuck, dude.
Hilarious.
I mean, and you wonder why Norvell's there. They couldn't buy the payout. I think his buyout was like $40 or $50 million. So this is quite fascinating there. So they, these universities just take out loans to, fix their facilities, their stadiums. And it's crazy because that's all the way college athletics worked. But if you did that in the past 5 or 10 years, you probably didn't foresee the changing landscape of college sports. So as far as paying players now, you have to pay players now, rev share. Which one's more shocking to you, Florida State or Rutgers?
Rutgers. Just because, I mean, we had already heard the rumors about Florida State. The Rutgers one came out of nowhere, I thought.
Yeah.
And that was like the whole reason of doing the Big Ten move was money.
Yeah.
That's why Florida State's been trying to get out of the ACC. They want the money. And so the Rutgers gets the money, and they go, all right, we'll go more in debt. Fucking idiots.
It is quite hilarious.
Idiots.
Speaking of Florida State, Gus Malzahn retiring. He's out. He saw the debt and he goes, "Yeah, I'm out of here. Fuck this." I mean, this guy had a great game plan against Alabama week 1 last season. I actually thought he did a decent job. I don't think it was all his fault. The way the season went for the Noles last year. Your thoughts on national champion coach Gus Malzahn retiring? Yeah, I mean, and that was news like this past week, maybe the past 10 days, something like that. That's a pretty big hit once again for Florida State. You wonder, maybe it was financial. Maybe honestly, he's probably a high paid OC. And if you're that much in debt, maybe you're just like, you know what, dude? I think we got to force you out the door.
You think he's done? He's 60. I think he's done.
I don't know. Sometimes you come back. You come back after a couple of years. We'll see. I mean, this is a crazy era.
Yeah.
So like we haven't seen some of the other coaches come back that have left. Like, well, obviously Coach K, but he was old. Roy Williams was old. 60, I still think you might have a little fire left. Like Gandhi still wants to. Whittingham just took the other gig. We'll get to him later today. But take a couple years off. Think about your shit.
Hang out with your wife for like a week and be like, all right, I'm ready to go coach.
Yeah, I'm ready to go again. I don't care if it's East Tennessee State. Give me it.
Get me out of this house.
Now, Mike Norvell's an offensive guy. So he named Tim Harris Jr. their new offensive coordinator. I'm assuming. What do you think this is? Do you think it's more of like, hey, obviously we're not going to pay Malzahn that much. Tim Harris Jr. will be the new OC, but it'll kind of be Norvell calling the plays with looking over him because he's an offensive guy. What do you think?
Probably, you would think. I mean, what's it? Harris's second year in the program. I know he was at UCF as well. So I mean, Norvell's on the hot seat. If you're going to go down swinging. Go down with your running your ship your way. And if it's not good enough, at least you could say I went down my way. And I'll take all that money and to the bank.
Dude, I was seeing how much they are in debt. I was like, is the seat not as hot as I think it is?
Might give him an extension for free.
I was about to say, I was like, I had him like public enemy number 1 for this college football season, even ahead of Fickle, right? I thought, man, he's done. He's got to win right away. And now I'm like, if they're that in debt, do you play out that contract a little longer? Sure. They might. I don't know. I mean,
that's a catch-22 though, because if you're not winning, you're falling more behind and you're more in debt. I mean, look, and when you're
based on what they sued the ACC for too,
and when your rivals go into the Natty,
woo.
I mean, fuck. I mean, I know Indiana won.
Well, I don't get right, man.
That's a good point.
They're lucky Miami or Carson Beck did that interception, or you would have had a fucking Natty, and Florida State would be a real shit.
Oh yeah. Anyway, hilarious times down there in Tallahassee. Folks, I want to tell you that the College Football Experience is part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Look, if you're not checking out what we're doing for the Super Bowl, how about this? 60 bets for Super Bowl 60 plus Super Bowl squares. SportsGamblingPodcast.com. Free to enter. $1,000 reward for the winner. All right. Yeah, there's no gimmicks. You enter, you get a chance at $1,000 for free over at the ESGPN app. So do that and let it ride. We're also brought to you by Avo, yes, make more money betting sports with Avo. That's AVO. Avo is the best sports betting tool that helps you by spotting arbitrage and plus EV opportunities for you faster than the competitors, and they keep you organized all in one place. They have the cleanest dashboard. It's super easy to use, and like I would say it's user friendly. But even if you're having issues with that, they have step-by-step video guides. Just sign up, pick the sports books that you use, and let Avo tell you how much to bet. Still unsure? Check out their free Discord at Avo Official and see the success that people are having for themselves. Get started now at avo.bet. Use that promo code SGPN for $18 off. That's avo.bet, promo code SGPN for $18 off. And we're also brought to you by Kalshi. Kalshi is a real money prediction market, legal in all 50 states. Kalshi has a ton of trading options for the big game as well, including sides, totals, props, halftime performance, Gatorade color, all that good stuff. Besides sports, they have a ton of other markets, including politics, entertainment, hell, even the weather. It's Kalshi. You can trade anything. New Kalshi customers get $20 when they use the promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi, Kalshi, promo code SGPN. All right, we are back on the college football experience, and shout out to James Franklin Sportsbooks in the chat saying Gus Malzahn will have the chance to come back. Yeah, I think that's going to work, right? Give him a couple seasons dealing with wifey, right? And you say, yeah, maybe I should take this gig at Florida International after Willie Simmons gets a big gig. Maybe. Look, I'm going to stay in the ACC. We're going to go conference by conference here, but mainly keying in on the head coaching hires and we think, but also the coordinator hires. So Boston College, out of the fucking blue, out of the fucking blue, by the way. And I Ted Roof was hired as their new DC. Ted Roof, the former Duke head coach. That's what I'm saying. This is an unbelievable one here. He's 62 years old, legendary Georgia Tech linebacker, and he's been everywhere. You want to listen to these coaching stops. He was at Alabama in 87, 88. Was that Gene Stallings? That might have been, that might have been pre-Stallings. That might have been what, Curry?
This is outside the box hire by.
Oh my gosh. Bill O'Brien going deep in the well. But Bill O'Brien, remember, former Georgia Tech guy, and Ted Roof not only coached at Georgia Tech, but played at Georgia Tech in the 80s. So I wonder if that's the connection there. But yes, Ted Roof, linebacker coach at Duke in the 90s, head coach at Duke in the 2000s. Also coached at UMass, Western Carolina, West Georgia, Minnesota, Auburn, UCF, Penn State. Once again, he was Paul Johnson's DC at Georgia Tech in the mid 2000s. NC State, Appalachian State, Vanderbilt, Clemson, Oklahoma, UCF. I mean, dude, he's a legendary defensive coordinator. Like, a lot of great defensive coaches respect him, but you wonder if the game has passed him by. I'm curious your thoughts on the Ted Roof hire at DC by Boston College. This one out of the fucking blue. I part of me likes it. Part of me is like, I don't know how much adapted to today's game, but he hasn't been out of football that long. So look, he was at UCF in 2024 in Malzahn's last year.
1 year off.
Yeah. So what do you think?
Interested. I don't know. Like, an outside the box hire, I'm never against it at BC, but I don't know. How can you get excited about a 62-year-old that's been everywhere? It feels like, but hey, he's a lifer in this game. I mean, he is a football guy through and through. Look at him. He's ready to rock and roll.
He is ready to rock and roll. He'll punch you in your fucking face.
I know. He screams football guy. I can tell the locker room's gonna like Ted Roof.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, part of me thinks, hey, maybe this could be all right.
Somebody's got to be the good guy compared to O'Brien. O'Brien's fucking the biggest dick out there.
They're going to need it. We're going to talk schedule in the coming weeks.
Oh, God.
BC got, I think, one of the harder ACC schedules. It's kind of a make or break year potentially for Bill O'Brien. Yeah.
They always fuck over the same teams every year. Corrupt ass sport.
Shout out to Gary Casey. This guy's the Musa Cisse of football coaching. Yes, Musa Cisse. That's a good comparison. Next up, we're going alphabetically here in the ACC, but Cal hires Tosh Lapoy. This is one where I feel like I saw Deshaun Jackson lobby for him before he was hired, saying you guys need to hire Tosh Lapoy. This is a guy that played D-line for Cal, for Jeff Tedford in the early 2000s when really Cal was at their best of recent. I know back in the days they were nasty, but his coaching career, he also started coaching at Cal for Jeff Tedford, then jumped over to Washington, I think, with Steve Sarkisian or I think it was Sark or Peterson. Then he went to Alabama with Saban for 5 years. Then he went to the NFL for the Cleveland Browns, the Atlanta Falcons, the Jacksonville Jags, and then he's been at Oregon with Dan Lanning for the past 4 years. Thoughts on Lupoi coming home to Berkeley?
I like this hire. It's one of their own. Like you said, he played there in the mid 2000s. I think it was a year with Rutgers where they were fucking loaded. So he understands the Cal way. And I thought Oregon's defenses were really good. I know the offense gets a lot of the flash, but I thought they were really good defensively these last couple of years under Lanning. So, he's got a good track record working from Saban and Peterson.
And, of course, Riverboat Ron, who's the general manager of Cal football.
That always gets me.
That's why, look, he goes for DC. He goes for a DC. And I think part of the things he might have liked about Lupoi was his NFL background.
Yeah.
Well, that seems to be a theme. I know they were able to keep JKS, their star quarterback, and a lot of that had to do with retaining Nick Rolovich to be head offensive analyst, not OC, right? Well, in college football is changing. People keep saying it's getting closer and closer to the NFL model. Well, they go out and get Jordan Somerville as OC from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who kind of helped Baker Mayfield's rebirth. And then they go and get DC, Michael Hutchins from the Minnesota Vikings. So this is like an all NFL staff.
Yep.
Historically, I've been very skeptical of that. Just because their track record when they come to college has been terrible, but a lot of these guys have started out in college. Somerville was with Danny Gonzalez at New Mexico not that long ago. He was also an analyst for Oregon, so there's probably the connection. I'm just curious, and Hutchins is a similar thing. He's been in the NFL for a little bit, but before that, I do believe his background was in college football, as he was a part of USC staff. Hell, what years were that? I think it was Clay Helton years, and then was an Oregon analyst in Lupoi's first year at Oregon. Then he was at Western Kentucky before going to the Minnesota Vikings. But your thoughts on the hires in the NFL route, because you're seeing, hey, it worked for Ohio State. You saw Ohio State go some NFL guys of late. Can it work in Berkeley?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I know you're not you don't watch the NFL anymore. So Hutchins worked for Flores, who's been Minnesota's defense has been one of the better units in the NFL the last couple of years. So coming from a winning track record at the NFL defensively, where they like to gamble, like to blitz a lot. So we'll see if that's kind of their style. I know Lupoi is a defensive guy, so he's going to have his fingerprints all over it as well. But Somerville did a good job with the Bucs. I mean, Baker Mayfield was an MVP candidate.
Yeah. So exciting times in Berkeley, and we're going to get to Stanford in a few minutes here. I feel like they're both in this arms race to be like NFL junior.
Trying to go the West Coast route, NFL.
Yeah. Next up, we have Chad Morris and the Clemson Tigers. Look, Clemson news. They got rid of Garrett Riley, the brother of Lincoln Riley, and they're going back. Dabo's calling up, but this is like getting drunk. You're struggling in life, calling up an old girlfriend, right? That's what Dabo's doing right there. Chad Morris is, first off, he's the father of Chandler Morris, the Virginia quarterback who led the Wahoos to the ACC championship this past year. He has not been in college football since 2024, where he was the wide receivers coach for Texas State. But in 2023, he was an offensive analyst for Clemson. But I think where he really made his name, it was the OC of Clemson from 2011 to 2014. He was also SMU's head coach from 2015 to 2017. And then he was Arkansas's head coach, where he went 18-40. Thoughts on the reunion in Clemson, South Carolina, with Chad Morris and Dabo calling up the old girlfriends? No disrespect, Chad Morris. I'm just saying it's a
this is
metaphor.
no Dabo. This is so dumb. Everybody's bringing in these new names, going the NFL right. He goes, I'm going to go with my offensive coordinator from 2011 to 20.
Yeah. We had success back then, damn it. We could do it. We can do it.
I love Dabo. He'll be calling out somebody else this week. Yeah, I'm interested. I mean, they were good, but it was a different era.
Yeah. I'm very, very intrigued to see Chad Morris back at Clemson to see if it can still work and see if maybe, it's been a couple of years, but maybe, picked up a few things. That's you're always evolving as a person. Maybe Chad Morris, his time at Texas State, was studying G.J. Kinney and says, you know what, we could do some things. Should be interesting to see Dabo, who obviously is also in the news for calling out Ole Miss and Pete Golding for tampering. I'm sure the NCAA will do a lot of they'll really come down on Ole Miss there. Next up, we have, how about this one? This is how I know I'm old. George Godsey. So if you're not familiar, Georgia Tech's offensive coordinator Buster Faulkner, who I was a big fan of, he left for the Florida Gators. We'll talk about him in a little bit. So they interviewed Chip Kelly, but they go with George Godsey. And here's what I love about this. I remember George Godsey. This is how old I am. I remember him when he was a starting quarterback at Georgia Tech under George O'Leary. Well, guess who played for Georgia Tech? What's that? Brent Key, exactly. Brent Key also was. So they go back. George Godsey named the offensive coordinator at Georgia Tech. I love it when the players are at their alma mater, repping their alma mater. Thoughts on the hire? Because I think originally people thought, man, it'd be great to get Chip Kelly to come and be the OC, but he goes with his old buddy, who's put in his work, by the way. He was recently with the Baltimore Ravens, but he was at UCF with George O'Leary back in the day, but he hasn't been in college football since 2010. Your thoughts on the hire of George Godsey?
Another outside the box hire. But you mentioned it. Godsey going back to his alma mater obviously has a lot of pride in that uniform. And we see Brent Key rep that emotionally over and over throughout the year, how much he loves Georgia Tech. So I trust him bringing in one of his guys that he knows and trusts. We'll see we'll see if they're going to continue their brand of football. I know Haynes King is finally gone, but they're going to run the rock and they're going to be physical in the trenches again. Yeah.
I mean, part of me really likes this hire. We'll see. We've never seen him at the not never, but it's been a long time since we've seen him in college football. On the defensive side, it should be noted that Blake Gideon, their 1-year DC, left to go back to Texas, where he was the year before. Texas paid him a bunch of money to come back as a defensive analyst. Not even a DC. It's that Texas money. Work it out. But so they went out and brought in Jason Seymour. Now I kind of really like this hire, man. Jason Seymour has been a Charles Huff guy. So he was with Huff last year at Southern Miss. The 2 years prior was at Marshall. Did a great job there. And this is another guy that goes back at Georgia Tech. He was there in 2022. In 21, he was at Valdosta State. He's been at Georgia Tech. This is his third stint at Georgia Tech.
Yep.
And let's not forget he was at Montana. We talked Bobby Hauck earlier. Your thoughts on Jason Seymour? Yeah, I just love Brent Key saying, I can't trust these other motherfuckers. Give me my yellow jackets. Yes. All right. If you've been a yellow jacket, you know what it takes to be here. But I like the hire. I actually think, considering, maybe it's been tough losing 2 DCs the past 2 years, but Seymour, guy that's familiar with the job, and it's been a successful defensive coordinator. Your thoughts?
He has, and to your point, this is his third time there. So good stops at Southern Miss, good stops at Marshall. So I'm a fan of bringing him home.
Yeah, third tenure at Georgia Tech
in the last 6 years too.
It's like Ted Roof. Yeah,
hey, this is my third time living in Morgantown.
There you go.
Third 10 years of time, Jason Seymour.
It's easy to see a tide turn.
Shout out to Jason Seymour. Glad to see you're home. Next up, oh boy,
this is the hire of the year.
Bill Belichick and that offense. Freddie Kitchens was fired as offense coordinator. and they made the hire of all hires. They went out and they hired the interim head coach from Fayetteville, Arkansas, Bobby Petrino.
I'd rather ride on my motorcycle. And I don't want to die. Just want to ride on my motorcycle.
He's home. He's home. Look, I know it's hilarious. All right. A lot of people with this thing, when this news hit, Twitter was fucking hilarious, right? Like just everybody making fun of the connection with Belichick and his 10-year-old girlfriend, or I'm sorry, 25-year-old girlfriend. I don't want to, you can't even say 10-year-old girlfriend because the Epstein shit's going on with his 22-year-old girlfriend, whatever it is, right? But Bobby Petrino's home. And let me tell you this. A lot of people talk shit. The guy can move the football. I think this might work. I got a feeling that Petrino, if the defense, because one thing I was kind of impressed with was the defense at times for Carolina. At times,
yeah.
Later in the year, I thought it got better. Petrino in Chapel Hill with Chapel Bill. Can it work, McIntosh?
Yes. Their offense was not the problem. Or talking about Arkansas's offense. The Arkansas offense was not the problem. Yeah. And if Belichick can tighten up his defense in year 2 after seeing what he needed to see year 1, I think this could be a good marriage. And I trust Belichick to know what he needed, and he went against Petrino in the NFL. So there's some familiarity in that aspect. But yeah, watch out sorority row, baby.
Watch out volleyball team.
Watch out every female in Chapel Hill. Like Chapel Bill and Bobby P are in town. They're gonna be on the motorcycle together.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, this is content heaven, by the way. Content heaven. But dude, yeah, like Arkansas's offense with Taylor Green was moving the ball. You wonder. I know Gio Lopez hit the portal. He's now at Wake Forest. We'll talk about that in the coming weeks. But I think it's gonna work as long as there's no off the field. Who knows? But on the field, I actually think it can work. I kind of love this hire by Chapel Bill there in North Carolina. So yeah. Keeping him out of the Hall of Fame was a fucking joke.
Oh my God! I mean, if he's not in the Hall of Fame, then who the fuck is in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah,
these
absolutely ridiculous.
These idiots, they act like Tom Brady was the unanimous number 1 pick in the draft. He went 199 for a reason. Nobody saw Tom Brady coming. No, Bill Belichick.
Well, Bill Belichick saw him coming.
Yeah. Bill Belichick had the nuts to bench Drew Bledsoe for a rookie, and then went on to win the Super Bowl. And Brady wasn't really Brady until like 7, 8 years in. The Belichick hate has gone way too far. I'm pulling for Bill this next year. And Carolina's defense was all right. I thought they were good in the second half.
Especially, towards the end of the season, I thought they were actually showing some major strides.
Yeah.
So,
let Petrino cook offensively, man. He gets his offense going. Bill gets his defense going. Carolina might be a playoff contender.
Let's go.
I hope so.
Next up, we go to Pitt, where Corey Sanders. It came. This was probably right after the ECU game, I think, where of course ECU down 10 starters beat Pitt in in Annapolis, Maryland. There, in the bowl game there. But Pitt, obviously, Pat Narduzzi is a defensive guy, right?
Yeah.
And they lost their longtime DC. Why am I drawing a blank on his name right now? But Corey Sanders has been named the interim head coach. His DC had been there forever. He was also previously at Northwestern with Mike Hankwitz. I'm just drawing a blank on his name right now. But Corey Sanders now takes over. He's been with Pitt for a little bit now. I know you are a West Virginia guy, so I don't expect you to talk good about this hire. But this would be his 9th season with Pitt. So if anyone's going to know it, it will be him. He played at St. Joe's, Indiana. I don't even think it's a program anymore. But your thoughts on Pitt and their obviously their defense being the focal point of the team, I think more years than not.
Randy Bates was his name. Right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I couldn't remember. I knew it was Randy. I couldn't remember his last name, but yeah, Bates.
That's the problem. It's such a basic name that I would. Yeah, I always forget that name. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, Sanders was already there. He may
9 years. 9 years, man.
Yeah, he may be the official defensive coordinator, but we know Narduzzi will still have his fingerprints all over this defense.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to miss a beat. I just think it's
they'll be good
that Bates is gone.
Once I hate them, they'll be good defensively.
Also sticking in the ACC, we got how about Vince Carey's the Toledo DC going to Syracuse. I kind of like this hire, man.
Yeah, Fran Brown going out.
Fran Brown. Yeah, obviously they were terrible last year, but I think injuries played a big role. They were going to be bad, I think, regardless. But it would. I still think they might have been like around 500 had they not lost Steve Angeli for the season after in that Clemson game. They still beat Clemson at Clemson, so I kind of like this hire. He's done a decent job in his career. So Vince Carey's coming over. Obviously, Jason Candle, the Toledo head coach, left for UConn, so that opened up. Vince Carey's looking for a gig, and former Mount Union guy, of course, just like Matt Campbell. Yeah.
Yep. He's one of those Mount Union guys. Yeah. And Mount Union, he went 95-6 in 7 years.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a good hire. I think this is a sneaky good one by Fran. He knows what the fuck he's doing.
Yep.
Shout out to that. Sticking in the ACC. This is what we're talking about. Stanford. Yes, they are in the ACC. Hey, the Bill O'Brien route. I'm sorry, not the Bill O'Brien route. The Brent Key route. Going with the former guide. Avita Pritchard is named the new head coach at Stanford, coming over from the Washington Redskins. But obviously played under Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah,
was actually the first quarterback under Jim Harbaugh, and Andrew Luck. He was his mentor. So not surprising to see Luck hit up to Avita Pritchard and say, "Hey, I want you to coach the Cardinal in 2026." So he leaves the Redskins, jumps back to Palo Alto. NFL guy recently, but not that recently. I mean, not for that long, I should say. He's been in the college game. He was in Palo Alto when David Shaw was there. So he did 3 years in the NFL, but comes back. But they still kind of, go in the NFL route there. We'll key on that in a second. Your thoughts on the hire?
I like this hire. Like you said, Pritchard has worn every hat in this organization. He played there. He was a mentor to Luck. Then he was a GA for Luck. Then he was the running backs coach, quarterbacks coach, wide receiver coach 1 year, and offensive coordinator. He's called and held every position at Stanford in this program. So, I know he got the NFL experience, but I don't even look at it like that. He knows Stanford, and I think this was a good hire.
Yeah, I feel like they're an interesting team. They got like a $50 million donation from like a rich alum, strictly for football. So that one is going to be interesting to see what they can do. I know they're recruiting better than I think most thought they would. But they continue the NFL route because they go out and hire Terry Heffernan as the OC, and he has previously been at Stanford. He's been on the farm, but he's been with Virginia the past 3 years. But he was also in the National Football League some. So, I guess I don't know what to really make of this. Besides, like
wild card.
Well, I like the continuity that he was with Stanford, so that he kind of knows what they're gonna do. But I thought they might go for a bigger name, if that makes sense. But and defensively, they grab an NFL guy as well with Chris Richard, who's been at a bunch of stops in the NFL. The Saints, the Cowboys, the Seahawks. He was the Seahawks DC. When they won the Super Bowl, I believe. If not, he was a defensive coach on that staff where they won the Super Bowl, or actually, I wanted to say he was 2015 to 17. So they didn't win the Super Bowl. They lost the Super Bowl that year, right? I feel like that's the interception by the Patriots there.
Seahawks, yeah.
Yep.
Hey, but Heffernan also did a good job in Virginia last year.
Yeah, no, I mean that Virginia staff was very good. So maybe Yeah, maybe that they got something there that I might not be realizing. Also, Richard, former USC Trojan, so he's familiar with the West Coast and California. Thoughts of who's more NFL here, and which one will have more success, Stanford or Cal? You think long term in the next 5 years?
More NFL. I would say Cal, just because I feel like their coordinators were in the NFL longer.
Which teams will be better, you think, over the next 5 years? More wins, say 2031. You look over the past 5 years.
Cal slightly.
Okay.
But I think it's close.
JKS is coming back. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, they already have the quarterback in position.
Next up, we have James Franklin going to Virginia Tech. In my opinion, I think this is the biggest layup for best coach, best hire of the of the entire cycle.
How about his coordinator?
We're going to get to that in a second, but your thoughts just in general on the hire as Virginia Tech is back. They got a strong donation too. I forget what that was. They put up a major amount of money for football. Let me look that up right now. But thoughts on the hire?
I think we kind of already touched on this one a couple months ago. This was easy. Say what you want about James Franklin. He was consistent at Penn State. They would win 8-9 games. They had one bad 3-game stretch here, and I think Penn State overreacted a little bit, to be honest. I mean, they were hosting College Game Day as a favorite, ranked 3rd in the country, and they lost a tough overtime game. And then the wheels fell off when they lose to Northwestern. They lose to UCLA. But I mean, 104-45. He was great at Vanderbilt. He recruits the DMV. This is an easy hire. Virginia Tech will win 8-9 games pretty much every year now.
Yeah, and Virginia Tech launched a massive $230 million 4-year financial initiative to elevate its football program. I know after that, I believe they got a $20 million donation from a alum there. So this is fascinating to me. I mean, this place is going to be rocking this year. Now, offensively, he doesn't go with Kotelnicki. He brings Ty Howell with him from Penn State. So Kotelnicki we'll get to in a little bit, but he decides not to go with Kotelnicki. And then the big news is defensively. I don't know that I've ever seen this.
I've never seen this.
Maybe on like an FCS or D2 level. I can't recall a time where a sitting head coach gets fired. And he got fired when? October?
Yeah.
Right? And Philip Montgomery came in. Yeah. And then it might have even been late September. It was like after the Old Dominion game, I feel like.
Yeah.
And now he's back. He's hired as the DC at Virginia Tech. Brent Pry. You didn't have to move. Kids can stay in the school. You can go to the same bar and still remember the bartender's name. I am so eager to see how this works. Your thoughts on Brent Pry back in Blacksburg, even though he never left.
I mean, the closest thing I can think of is Luke Fickell, Ohio State, when he was the interim coach, and then Urban Meyer came in and he retained him as DC. But that's not the same as this. He was fired. He was fired mid-season. Everybody hated him. And then they're like, now everybody's like, oh, probably wasn't that bad. Come on back.
He just posted tweets in like fucking the Bahamas with his wife or something, just saying like, hey, Merry Christmas or Happy Thanksgiving or something, whatever the fuck it was. And now it's like, he's back, baby. All right, let's go.
He was tweeting out "Go Hokies" and stuff. I was like, "What the fuck?" He's tweeting out "Go Hokies." They fired him. I didn't know he'd be back there.
Well, that's the thing, and I actually think this is what's cool about Virginia Tech.
It shows you that he's a pretty good dude.
He was a GA there under Bud Foster. Bud Foster's still affiliated with the program.
Yep.
Obviously, Frank Beamer's a legend there. They got it seems so family oriented there. Now I know that they had been really fucking up over the past decade, and really some of it not Pry's fault. Some of it not Fuente's fault. They were lacking to me like financial commitment. It seemed like I had read a couple stories about that. So maybe this can all work. He is a James Franklin guy. That's a good point, Gary K in the chat. He was with Franklin at Penn State prior, and apparently Franklin called him, referring like, "Is this a good job? Should I take this gig?" And Brent Pry's like, dude, it's a great place. You know, they've been great to me. And then I guess that helped mend the relationship.
He said,
Dude,
yeah, it's a great place now. Can you hire me as DC?
looking for a gig, coach. And he's like, let me make a few calls. He was a good DC.
Yeah,
he was a good DC.
When it happened, we thought about honestly, it was one of the reasons why we're like, I don't know if Franklin will take Tech because Pry's his boy. But then when he took it, it was like, he's not really going to bring him. Like, Pry's not going to go back. No, Pry, give him credit, man. He's put his ego aside. He said, all right, it didn't work out. I'll go be the DC now.
Yeah, Team Bass saying, I wonder if he burned his Virginia Tech year after he got hired. And now he regrets. Yeah, he went to the thrift store and was like, here you go. Guys, can I get that back? Did you sell that?
He went to the bar, he's shit on everybody. They're like, I didn't mean that.
Yeah, that's true. You probably got shit-faced one night and just like, you know what? Fuck this town, right? And then the next day gets that call. You know what? I regret that. All right. I was talking about it. I was talking about Charlottesville. You guys misunderstood me. I was talking about Charlottesville. Are they look, I know there's one big coaching hire that makes it must watch that happened in Louisiana, but where do you put them as like must watch next year? Virginia Tech.
Definitely at the top of the ACC.
Yeah.
Can he flip it in year one? Penn State took him a minute, and maybe they're still around a 500, 7-5 team next year, but I would imagine by year 2 and 3, they're humming.
And first year at Penn State, he didn't have access to the portal like it is now.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he can win 8 games right away.
Yeah. That's going to be fascinating to watch. Brent Pry back in Blacksburg with James Franklin and back with James Franklin. I found that on the interwebs. So shout out to whoever did that. Next up.
Talking about his Virginia Tech year. You didn't have to Photoshop.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It flew over my head. I'm a fucking moron. What? Whoa. Notre Dame, who's kind of ACC. They took Illinois' sitting defensive coordinator, Aaron Henry, and he'll be co-DC.
Yeah.
For Marcus Freeman and company. Dude, Notre Dame, we'll get to the transfer portal episode. They're loading the fuck up. They're making a run at the Natty, I think, man. Obviously, they were in it last year, missed the playoffs this year. Should have been in the playoffs if we had a larger field. Thoughts on Aaron Henry? Did a good job in Champaign, obviously, with the exception to the Indiana game. But thoughts on Aaron Henry going to the Irish?
Yeah, I thought Illinois' defense was solid under Henry the last couple of years. So they're physical, players coach. Freeman, of course, is a defensive guy, so he'll have his hands all over the defense. But to your point, Notre Dame's all in. Their schedule is dog shit next year. The good hire. They're
the Natty run. They're going for the Natty run.
Yeah.
Folks, what I tell you. We're going for the Natty run, right? Because we're sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Underdog has you covered for the big game this Sunday. Yes, the game. Choose a player and reveal whether you've unlocked a gimme pick or followed by a boost builder tied to the big game. Underdog is celebrating by hooking players up with the biggest boost. Just submit a boosted entry to unlock an even bigger boost on the next one, all the way up to 60%. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers to play $5, get $75 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code. That is TCESGPN. So do that and let it ride. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm has been crushing it this NFL postseason, especially on the props. 2 years in a row. 6-1 on pass touchdown props. 2-0 on interception props. You got to check it out. Super easy to sign up. Run predictions off their house model, or you can make your own and play with those sliders. Looking to go premium? Use the promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off your first month. Download Rhythm. That's RITHMM. Promo code SGPN25. All right. We are back, and let's jump over to the SEC, where Ryan Silverfield, we like to call him Silverfish, leaves Memphis for Fayetteville. Right? Leaves Memphis for Fayetteville. In my opinion, I'm with you. You just said I'm not a fan. I think Sam Pittman Bobby Petrino, either or would have been a better option than Ryan Silverfield at Arkansas. I did not love this hire. I didn't think he did a great job at Memphis, to tell you the truth. I think he was all right because he got, what was the Harbaugh thing? You were born on third base. He didn't hit that triple, right? I think you can make a case for that with Ryan Silverfield at Memphis, with the way Fuente and Norvell had Fuente's the real one that built it up, I think. Then Norvell carried it out. Silverfield carried it out, but to a lesser point, I thought. They did not win any AAC championships under Silverfish.
They didn't even get there.
Yeah. So, not the biggest fan of this hire, but your thoughts on the Razorbacks hiring Ryan Silverfield?
Yeah, I would give this a D. And honestly, I think it was the worst hire of this cycle. He never got to the American Championship.
And Memphis spends more than any of these AAC schools.
They never finished higher than third. This year, they were the co-favorite with Tulane coming into the year. They finished sixth. How did he get? I don't understand this hire.
Failing upwards.
Yeah, right? Good for him. I know Memphis and Arkansas are right next to each other. I know Memphis beat them, so they must have fallen in love that day.
That's probably what happened. Is like, we need to get this guy.
Yeah,
AAC team's beating us.
He's bringing the year.
He's bringing his OC Tim Cramsey with him. So familiarity there. Maybe we'll see what they end up doing. Do they bring in a bunch of Memphis guys? Are they trying to quickly do that? Maybe. I don't know. Defensively is intriguing to me, where I'm a skeptic more on Silverfish and Cramsey, but I do think Ron Roberts is a decent defensive coordinator. He was at Florida. Prior to that, he was with the Randa at Baylor. It's an interesting hire to me. I kind of like the DC hire. We'll see. I don't know that he's in the best situation to win, so I don't know if it will actually work out. It's been like, this is a great defense, but I kind of thought Silverfish might have pulled a decent hire out of because Arkansas's defense was non-existent last year. Yeah. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, everything we said with Petrino, like the problem with Arkansas last year was they were abysmal defensively. So you go out and you get a veteran guy that's been in this league at Florida, Auburn. He's also been at Baylor. So a veteran guy in this industry. He's got to flip this thing and get the culture right away. I think Arkansas is definitely going to be in for a tough year one. Long term, I'm not a big Silverfield guy, just like yourself.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's hard to get on board with. Like you said, you never got to the American Championship. It's not like the Americans like a juggernaut either. It's solid, but you should in 7 years get there at least once when you have the highest budget.
Yeah, agreed. Cosign. Yep. Auburn hires Alex. Going to go to the Golesh. This one I'm actually excited about. Now I know it's Auburn, where they fired coaches like a year removed from the Natty. I think it can work here. And I was more of a skeptic of the Hugh Freeze hire. I think this one can work. Obviously, Alex Golesh, former Matt Campbell guy, former Josh Heupel guy. I'm intrigued. What do you make of the hire with Golesh going to the Plains?
I actually saw Golesh talking in the media today. He likes his team talent-wise, but he was a little worried about the offensive line from what I could gather. But I am a big fan of this hire. I think this is the best out of the American to the SEC guys. I thought Golesh flipped South Florida right away, and they were horrible before he got there. And they have an identity, his team. So I'm a fan, and I think he fits Auburn. He's different. He's cocky. He's got a chip on his shoulder. I like Golesh here. I think Gary's right. Bama better be careful here.
Yeah, look, he brings his OC with him, Joel Gordon, and also obviously Byron Brown. We got to get to the transfer portal episode in maybe a week or two. But Byron Brown, their star quarterback at South Florida, follows over Gordon and Golesh to the Plains there of Auburn. Should be rocking. Defensively, they were able to retain DJ Durkin, who he knows is a good defense coordinator, and they bring in Tim Banks, who got fired at Tennessee. And Tim Banks was funny. I feel like 2 years ago, people were raving about him. Bad year this past year in Knoxville, fired, and he lands at Auburn. This might be a blessing in disguise. Golesh worked with them in Knoxville a few years back. Thoughts on the DC hire? So I think Durkin and Banks are a pretty solid DC bunch.
Yeah. I like the Dirk, keeping Durkin around. I like Banks as well. Like I said, Auburn, I think this could be a bowl team right away. I know Hugh Freeze, talent was not the issue. It just felt like they never could put it together. I think Golesh and this veteran staff here with some good turnover is going to be good right away.
Yeah. So initially, I think it was my favorite of the AAC hires, or really the SEC hires. But I might have changed my opinion in the coming weeks. We'll see. I still like this one. Don't get me wrong. I think it's going to work. But I know that Auburn fans are ridiculous, though. Like, if you struggle a little bit, he needs to hit the ground running. He needs to hit the ground running because they do not have much patience on the plains. This is the one that I am very intrigued by. Is at first I thought Sumrall. I thought, man, maybe he didn't do as good at Tulane as I thought he was going to do. I thought ECU should have beat Tulane this past year, and they shit the bed down the stretch, or ECU did. But he did. I loved what he did at Troy. But then part of me was like, man, Troy's had a bunch of good coaches over the past 20 years. But one of the things I loved about Sumrall is he hired Buster Faulkner, who I think is a very, very good offensive coordinator. And he also hired Brad White at DC, who comes over from Kentucky, and Mark Stoops. I kind of love the coaching staff he put together in Gainesville, man. So I think initially, when we were doing the picks and all these hires happened, I think I said Golesh is my favorite from the SEC. I think after I saw the staff hirings, I think I would put Sumrall 1, Golesh 2. But your thoughts on Jon Sumrall to Florida?
I'm a fan, and you can just tell energy wise that there's already a new vibe down there in Gainesville. So I know he took over good jobs back to back at Tulane and Troy, but 43-12 in 4 years as a head coach, still 43-12, and he got to a college football playoff. He's won the conference 3 out of his 4 years. So Faulkner, I like the hire there on the offensive side coming over from Georgia Tech. And then I like his DC. White coming over from Kentucky. Stoops always good defensively, and we know Sumrall is a Kentucky guy.
Yeah, I think this, and if you haven't caught Florida there, know what they're practicing without the stickers on the helmet. He took the stickers off the helmet. So they don't deserve them. Pulling a Pat Hill at Fresno State back in the day.
Florida's going to be good again. I think Sumrall's the right guy to get this thing going again.
Yeah, Gary Barnett at Colorado too did that shit. That shit's funny. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. You got to earn those stickers. You got to earn those stickers. Florida should be an interesting team, and they got to be relishing the fact that Florida State's in a crisis. Although Miami might have the all-time fuck you for this past year. Kentucky. Oh, did I miss the Will Stein? I definitely did. Let me see if I can load that up real quick. Kentucky hires.
Is he next? Might be next.
What's that? Did I fuck this up? No. I think I fucked this up. So Kentucky hires. Let me just show the slide that I made here. I'm just a moron. YouTube.com/The College Experience. But they hire Will Stein, the offensive coordinator for Oregon, and curious what you think of that hire. But he's a Kentucky guy. I think he was a Louisville guy, but I feel like if you're from the state of Kentucky, that might be a low blow. But overall, I think he's had family that played at Kentucky. And he comes in, they go for the offensive guy first off, after Stoops wasn't known for his offenses in Lexington. Yeah. Not a surprise there, but Will Stein hired as head coach of the Wildcats. And then he hires Joe Sloan, who was with Brian Kelly at LSU, did pretty well offensively at LSU, obviously with some really good quarterback play. And then on the defensive side, hires Jay Bateman, who was the defense coordinator at Texas A&M last year. I know Jay Bateman. Well, first off, he's been an Elko guy or a Clawson guy, but I remember him also with Jeff Monken at Army doing a hell of a job. I kind of like the staff he put together, dude. Will Stein. I mean, I don't know what to expect in year one. It seems like going from a defensive coach to an offensive coach, but I kind of like the staff that he put together. Your thoughts?
Yeah, both coaches' familiarity in the SEC already. LSU was really good offensively. Their defense was their problem. So Sloan, I would think that Kentucky's going to be innovative offensively, and then Sloan as well, having his hands all over that offense. And then Bateman on the defensive side, A&M was good defensively. And he's an Elko guy. We know Elko defenses are always tough, hard-nosed. So I've heard a lot of people think Stein might be the next big thing. So I'm interested to see. He's never led a program, but he worked for Lanning. He's worked under that tree. All those guys seem to have success, get players, and win games.
Yeah, I think this is one of the the most interesting ones to me this year. Like, we know like Lane is going to be in must-watch TV.
Yeah.
Franklin at Virginia Tech must-watch TV. But this is one of the ones where I'm just like, I wonder if this can work. Should be interesting to watch in Lexington. Lane, speaking of Lane, he's at LSU. Can't stand the way he left Ole Miss and the way he did it, but he has been very successful as a head coach, especially of late. Yeah. Early in his heyday, it wasn't necessarily lighting it on fire. But of late, he has been very successful at Florida Atlantic and Ole Miss, obviously, getting them to the playoffs. Your thoughts, will it work? Because the one thing I'll say, we know they're spending a bunch of money. The NCAA is investigating them right now. But even in this day and age, but they got Jordan Seaton coming in. We'll talk on the transfer, one of the best offensive linemen in the country. It's to me though, it seems like unorganized, like LSU, like you had the governor, like firing the coach. You know, they appointed an interim that I felt like a lot of people thought wasn't. He had a show clause. He couldn't even step on campus for a while. Like, but if anyone can work in the madness, maybe it is Lane. Maybe that fits him to a T. Your thoughts on Lane Kiffin in Baton Rouge?
I can't wait for this. I can't wait for this.
Sam Levitt, by the way, right?
Yeah.
Sam Levitt, yeah.
Talent-wise, they definitely will not have any issues. He's great in the portal. That's what he does. He's great. He's gotten better as a head coach. He's definitely evolved over the years. I think his tenure with Saban helped him just from his younger, because he used to be way overrated. Now, what he did I thought he did a hell of a job last year before, of course, he had to be Lane and leave middle of the playoff after winning the Egg Bowl. But, the expectation is he's got to win a natty. All the other LSU guys win a natty, so this is going to be entertaining, and he's going to embrace it, and he's going to poke at everybody. See, he was doing some shit today. He was posting some chick's legs today on his Instagram.
I just want to see him at a basketball game do the fake accent. Just do the fake Southern accent.
Did you see what he did instead? Him and Kim Malkin, he walked out holding hands together.
That shit was weird. I don't know what that was, right?
And then he posted on his Instagram shared her photo of her sticking her tongue out. I was like, why is he sharing that on his? He doesn't give a fuck.
Wasn't his daughter dating one of the players? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they still are apparently. So yeah,
they are. I didn't know that. I thought they broke up.
No, they're still there, and that's this is gonna be much. They play like Ole Miss week 3 in Oxford. Oh man, that place is gonna burn down. And he's gotta go to Tennessee. Yeah. They gotta go to Tennessee this year too. They still fucking hate him out there.
Yeah. Like I am just very fascinated to see if this works. Like I think it'll work no matter what. Like at LSU, even Brian Kelly, it was working to a certain extent. They were still making bowls, and he went to one SEC championship game. But it wasn't working for their standards. That's the question I wonder. Can it work for their standards?
Yeah.
They pushed Orgeron out, a year removed from the Natty?
I know.
Sure, he was hitting on every chick in fucking Louisiana, but...
And Lane's not?
Yeah, exactly. What is this? And it makes me think of Les Miles' quote to his recruit, like the recruiting coordinator or something. Some woman that was working for him was like, make sure you bring in the blondes with the big tits and the hot asses, right? That's what my players want to see when they go on a recruiting trip to Baton Rouge. That came out in court. That was fucking hilarious when that came out in court. I just...
You ain't lying.
The LSU just goes for it, though. Each coach, they say they've changed. They ain't changed. Lane. So he did retain Blake Baker as the DC, and then he brings in Charlie Weiss Jr., who was with Ole Miss, stayed with them through the playoffs. The son of Charlie Weiss, Belichick, and former Notre Dame and Kansas coach. He's got a little Wahlberg look to him here. Thoughts on Charlie Weiss Jr. coming into Baton Rouge?
Yeah, home run. We saw him without we saw him without Lane in that Georgia game. Spread. He had Georgia on their heels the entire game, and Chambliss was awesome. But I thought Weiss did a hell of a job, put him in position to succeed. So LSU is going to be fun offensively with Levitt and then those weapons on the outside and that offensive line that they've bought. This should be a top 5, top 10 offense in America.
Yeah, they're probably going to be preseason top 10, maybe top 15.
They might be
but I think 5. Top 10. Yeah, I think top 10 for sure. Maybe even top 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
The schedule we'll get to the schedule in a couple weeks here, but kind of breaks nice-ish for them. I know SEC's going to the 9-game schedule. They open up with Clemson, so they got 10 Power 5s on that schedule, which I think it's been a minute since LSU did that. Been a few years, maybe the UCLA year. Anyway, interesting times in Baton Rouge. Next up, we have Pete Golding. He's tampering. No one gives a shit because guess what? Lane Kiffin tampered with his whole goddamn roster and his staff while the season was happening.
and the chicks on Ole Miss.
Yeah,
he
unbelievable.
Everybody at Oxford.
This is the one I have no idea. And let me say this.
Yeah.
I thought you had to hire him because you were stuck in a weird situation with the playoffs looming, and he kind of passed the test. But all those assistants are now in Baton Rouge, right? Yeah. This is one where I think the SEC's in an interesting era right now, where obviously you heard Lincoln Riley say it on Coward the other day. I thought it was hilarious because it's USC who's paid a bunch historically, but he said the playing field is even now across the board, right? And the SEC has not appeared in any national championships for 3 straight years, right? And kind of got their ass whooped in the postseason and the playoffs by the other conferences. And I look at this coaching cycle. If Golesh or Sumrall does not work out, there's a chance just if one of them doesn't work out. Then you throw in Stein's unproven. Golding could be a dud. Silverfish, we think, is going to be a dud. I still have my questions about Beamer and Columbia, right? You would say, I think, as someone that's loved college football my whole life, I would think the SEC might be down as far as coaching goes. The unknown with Golding and Stein could be pivotal, and some of these other AAC coaches could be pivotal towards the future. I mean, the SEC would be fine. Don't get me wrong. They'll fire you and spend money, but I'm just saying, in the arms race against the Big Ten, it seems to be going on. Big Ten's been dominating. So, your thoughts on the Pete Golding hire? This is if this happened in February, I might shit on it, but it's knowing that what they were dealing with. I think they did what they had to do. Your thoughts?
They did. And I'll give that a hot take. I don't think he'll be the head coach in 2 years. You know how Mark Adams for Chris Beard took over, like it was the big emotional rah, let's gather and win for the interim and the replacement. I kind of have the similar vibes of Golding. They may be okay next year, but I think the next year when you get another year removed from Lane Kiffin and that good staff that they had, I think that's when you see just the results from all the stuff that they've lost. So they had no choice. Golding did a great job in the playoff. They rallied around him, but I kind of think that this won't be the best hire of all time.
Trinidad Chambliss court date is what I think in the next week.
Yeah, that would help. That
would help. I know they're talking about Deuce Knight in the chat right now, who came over from Auburn. That could be intriguing, especially because they brought in John David Baker, who is he's been at ECU the past 2 years. Prior to that, he was at Ole Miss with Kiffin. So it's a familiar face. He's familiar with Golding. I, as an ECU fan, was relieved personally. I just thought we were way too gimmicky offensively, right? We're playing super fast. A lot of times that would lead to penalties and just kind of gimmicky. Anytime there was a 3rd and short or a 4th and short, we never got that shit. So I personally, you were with me at the Army game in Greenville, and in general, I know the numbers say he's a good offensive coordinator, and he's got that Lebby style, Kiffin style, where Lebby was extremely gimmicky, I felt like. So I mean, they'll probably put up big numbers, but I personally, for my team, I didn't want him to be my offensive coordinator. Your thoughts?
Hire makes sense because of the familiarity working for him already. And then Weiss leaving to go to LSU. So they go back to Baker. I'm interested to see if it works without Lane now.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Like, I know Lane wasn't the offensive coordinator, but Lane still had his fingerprints and his hands all over that offense and that identity.
Yeah. Shout out to Weehawk. Defensively, they went with an NFL guy, bringing in Patrick Toney from the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah. I'm intrigued because I believe he was in the SEC. I'm not sure if they ever crossed. I don't know how they crossed paths, Golding and Toney, but I know actually it might have been UTSA. They might have both been at UTSA at the same time. Yeah. So that's an intriguing one. He's been with the Arizona Cardinals as a defensive backs coach the past 3 years. Before that, he was at Florida with Napier and Louisiana with Napier and with Traylor at UTSA. So that's probably the connection there, but I have no idea. This is a mystery to me. Your thoughts?
The whole Miss thing, I think, is a mystery. Like, say what you want about Lane and LSU and all their bullshit. I think we know that the ceiling or the floor is going to be pretty high at LSU. We know at worst they're probably going to go 8-4 or 9-3. The bottom is not falling out at LSU, and they're throwing out a 6-6 season. I could see that happening at Ole Miss. There's just a lot of moving parts, a lot of guys kind of unproven in their new roles. So Toney and Golding, obviously good friends, but it's kind of a new staff that's never worked together in this environment.
Yeah. Next up in the SEC is Kendall Briles was hired at South Carolina. Son of Art Briles was previously at TCU, had some good seasons there with Josh Hoover and Sonny Dykes. And before that, he was at Arkansas. Actually had a really good season at Arkansas when they had one of their better seasons, I believe. Beamer and Briles, can it work? Will it work, McIntosh?
Why not? Let's go.
Lenora Sellers.
I think Briles is a good coach. I know everybody. I mean, his old man was a great coach. I know he's a little shady how they did their business down there in Waco, Waco. But Kendall Briles comes from a football family. I think he's done a pretty good job overall.
Yeah, I'm kind of intrigued by this one because I kind of didn't like they had Shula, they had Satterfield. I haven't really liked they had the Dow Loggins. I didn't really love the OCs the past couple of years in Columbia. This one might work out there. So intriguing to see that. Tennessee hired Jim Knowles, who was at Penn State last year. Obviously, Penn State was a train wreck last year. But prior to that, won a national championship at Ohio State. Banks is gone. Knowles is in. I don't love it because he keeps bouncing around so much, but the guy does have a decent track record. Will it work in Knoxville?
What do we think of Jim Knowles?
I think if you give him time, normally I think the first year or two is rocky.
Yeah.
But he turns a corner always, second, third, maybe even fourth year, depending on which stop. I don't think it's going to work particularly this year.
Yeah.
But 2 years, 3 years, if he can stay there, this is an SEC fan base, obviously. I mean, he's been at Penn State and Ohio State, but even Ohio State, he won the Natty, and he was at odds with Ryan Day, allegedly.
And their defense got better last year without him. That's my only thing. Like, I think he's solid.
He was good at Oklahoma State. He was good at Oklahoma State.
Yeah, he was good with Gundy, and him and Gundy were at each other's heads a lot too. Just he's got a big ego for sure. But I mean, when you're around, as long as he's been around, you kind of have to. I feel like his stock has fallen a little bit over the last 2-3 years. And he won a Natty, which is kind of fascinating.
Crazy, right? Yeah. Normally it's supposed to be the other way around. Interesting times there in Knoxville with Jim Knowles. Will Muschamp to Texas. This one.
Boom. Coach Boone's back in the acres down there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he was once the coach in waiting under Mac Brown. They fired Pete Kiewitowski, former Rutgers DC. Like, I thought he did a good job.
That made no sense. Should have fired Sarkisian.
Yeah. I don't know. That one was, yeah. I mean, you wonder, Sark, you got to think this might be a big year for him, right? Like their fan base is ridiculous. They spend a bunch of money. But not only do they bring Muschamp back, they go get Blake Gideon from Georgia Tech, who was their DC, but he's just an analyst now. So they load up financially on just defensive minds. Muschamp, obviously hilarious, great defense coordinator. Won a natty at Georgia, right? Won a natty at Texas. Will it work? I think the guy coaches good ball. So I'm going to say, but the defense was not the problem last year. Did you think it was? Maybe a little bit the run defense at times, but yeah, I don't know. I
would say I would expect more of the same. I think they'll just be rocks. I mean, they have fucking pros there. He gets to choose his talent there. They have all the money in the world, and they have the Texas brand, so they're going to be good. He's a good coach, but I don't think they're going to be better. Maybe they force more turnovers. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe maybe the personnel he wants is a better fit for him. I don't know. I did not see this one coming. I'll be very honest here. I did not see.
Watch out.
Yeah. A&M lost their offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. They go and get so they promote within. Holman Wiggins is the new OC in College Station. This is one, obviously Colin Klein leaves for Kansas State, his alma mater. Wiggins has been at A&M since 24. Was at Alabama with Saban from 19 to 23 and was with Fuente at Memphis and Virginia Tech. Prior to that, former running back for the New Mexico Lobos. Holman Wiggins promoting within. I just trust Elko. I feel like he's always a man with a plan. Being that he's a Ivy League grad, your thoughts on this hire?
I think Wiggins recruited Marcel Reed too, so it kind of makes some sense here. So, they lose Colin Klein, but the strength of their team hasn't been their offense; it's been their defense under Elko. So we'll see if he can add a different dynamic. It's another year with Marcel Reed being older. Give me I think it's an okay hire.
Well, on the defensive side of things, they go with Lyle Hemphill, as you see there in the shot, former JMU guy. These JMU guys are just flying off the shelves. Once again, promoting from within as Bateman leaves for Kentucky. I was intrigued why Bateman would leave A&M for Kentucky. Maybe they clashed him and Elko, even though I think they've had a long track record. I don't know. Or maybe you just want to get out from under that shadow. But Elko's a defensive guy. I'm not going to panic here. I think Hemphill will work fine in College Station. Your thoughts?
Yeah, another promote within here. Just shows you Elko trusts his culture, trusts his program, likes the guys within there, so he'll keep the continuity of what was the playoff team last year.
Yeah. All right, let's jump over to the Big 12, your favorite conference, the Baylor Bears. Dave Aranda, you got to think that I thought he was on the hot seat last year. He survived. He survived the hot seat. Now he's still on the hot seat for this year, obviously. But one of the things I do like is him. He called the plays defensively a year ago. I think before that, a couple years ago, was Ron Roberts, who we talked about going to Arkansas. Clanderman, I thought did a good job at K-State over the past couple of years.
Good coach.
I like this hire at DC for Baylor. Your thoughts?
I like it too. He was there the last 5 years, 6 years. He was good at North Dakota State as well. So a climbing guy. They've won a Big 12. He's been a winning Big 12 winning defensive coordinator. So you bring him over to Baylor. Aranda seems like he's got 9 lives. He keeps surviving.
And you never know. You could get the interim tag.
Yeah.
Bro, if shit's not going right. So Clanderman to Baylor. The BYU Cougars lost Jay Hill, their defensive coordinator, to Michigan. and Kyle Whittingham, longtime Whittingham guy. So they promote within with Kelly Poppinga, who's been with the program. Sataki, it's a culture play.
Yep.
Right.
This wasn't surprising at all.
Yeah, I could have called this. They're gonna just promote within. I just not surprised at all here. BYU. So I don't really find this that shocking. We can move along, right?
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have Colorado goes out the Buffs and get Brennan Marion, a sitting head coach at Sacramento State. Did a pretty good job with the Hornets there, but he got his fame with the go-go offense at UNLV with Barry Odom. Actually, prior to that, with William and Mary and Mike London, he had great success there, and also Howard, where obviously the go-go term reference is from DC. Your thoughts on Brennan Marion to Colorado? Because this is one. Losing Jordan Seaton is not a good thing, but I will tell you this: Pat Shurmur, I was confused about why he was the OC. This might be able to work. And I first thing I thought when they hired him was like, with Deion's health situation, is this your next head coach of Colorado? Your thoughts on Brennan Marion to the Buffs?
Yeah, I mean, he's only 38 years old, so it's a guy that a lot of people are high on as a rising star in this business. I am interested to see how quickly they can change the culture to the go-go here right away, because that's not an easy transition from where they're going from.
Well, especially they lose. Well, they're going to have Juju Lewis, the 5-star freshman in year 2. He played some last year.
Yep.
We'll see. We'll see how it works.
This is a wild card, because if it works, I think it could really work and be explosive. But I could also see it being a disaster, like a lot of things with Deion.
Yeah, I mean the DC Livingston, who they still have, is a really good DC.
Great.
So that would be intriguing if they can get any movement from turnovers were half the battle with the Buffs. Go back and watch a lot of the games, like the TCU game, the Georgia Tech game. Like turnovers were half the battle. Interesting to see, but they got to replace a lot of guys being gone as well. Obviously, Jordan Seaton, their best player. So next up, we have Jimmy Rogers to Iowa State. 1 year in Pullman. He was fantastic in Brookings, South Dakota with South Dakota State. I thought he was even impressive at Washington State. They almost beat Ole Miss. They almost beat Virginia. Probably should have beat those teams, or at least Virginia.
This guy's a good coach.
Yeah, and I'm very intrigued by this hire. This is one of the ones I'll put. I think I'm more intrigued than even the Will Stein thing here. I think it could work. And he brings back Tyler Roll, the OC for Matt Campbell 2 years ago. Roll does 1 year with the Detroit Lions. And so he brings back a Matt Campbell culture guy to aim. So what is remaining on the roster? I know that a bunch of those guys went to Penn State, will be familiar with Roll. And then defensively, he brings in Jesse Bobbitt, no relation to John, as far as I know. So his dick's not thrown out in the middle of a forest. Yet, at least. Iowa, Iowa, what happens in Iowa? Jesse Bobbitt, former DC, he was with Rogers. He came over from Wazoo.
Yep.
Dude, I kind of like the staff he's put together, whether Bobbitt has dick or not. Your thoughts?
Well, and if you go back to Roll was the offensive coordinator for North Dakota State, while Jimmy Rogers was prepared on the defensive side at South Dakota State. So that's the familiarity with the two. So I like Iowa State, man. I think that it's going to be more of the same. They will take a little bit of a step back just because Matt Campbell is one of the most underrated coaches in America. But I like this. I like this hire. I think they're doing the best to maintain the continuity of what has been great over the last decade.
I agree. Kansas. It's a reunion.
Yeah.
Andy Kotelnicki, who was with Lance Leipold at Wisconsin Whitewater. And honestly, Kansas hasn't been the same since Kotelnicki left, to tell you the truth. So it's a reunion in Lawrence. I know Weehawk's happy about this.
Mm-hmm.
I think the shoe fits. I think this is one of the better situations you could wish, because who's going to know him better than the guy who's been with for a long time? Glad to see him. It's a homecoming, Mac. Your thoughts?
It is a homecoming, and I would say that both parties were not good on the divorce after. Like, Kansas has not been good the last couple of years, and Colton Hickey had one okay year, and then last year was a disaster. So back with Leipold, I think Kansas will be solid offensively again.
They got that $300 million donation to their athletic department.
Colton Hickey looks like he's hungry right there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bad motherfucker right there. Let's go.
Right there, baby.
Next up, K-State. We have a lot to talk about here. Colin Klein.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
The homecoming. All right, former Bill Snyder quarterback, had great success there. He comes back, and he was able to talk Avery Johnson out of the portal, by the way, which I actually think Avery Johnson fits the style of play that Colin Klein once played as and used Marcel Reed as. So
I love this.
I think the shoe fits there. On the offensive side of things, Sean Gleason is his OC. He was Missouri's quarterback coach. And prior to that, I believe it was at Rutgers, right? Northwestern, Rutgers, Oklahoma State with Gundy. He was the OC for Mike Gundy in 2019. And prior to that, he was at Princeton. So Gleason in Manhattan. Will it work? And from the defensive side of things, he brings with him from Texas A&M, Jordan Peterson. So you got to like that Mike Elko defensive guy. Hops over from A&M to Manhattan. Your thoughts on the hire and if this will work in Manhattan?
You a little surprised Clareman didn't stay with Klein?
I was a little surprised, but maybe
he wanted a head coaching gig.
Yeah, maybe he got what the fuck, man? I'm out of here. I'm going to Waco. All right. I'm intrigued, man. I'm intrigued.
Well, and you got to think Bill Snyder's going to be around this program. I mean, this is his guy. Like, Colin Klein is had K-State one game away from the Natty. So that was one of K-State's best teams of all time. So, and he was good as offensive coordinator when they won the Big 12 with Will Howard, and then Avery Johnson, I believe, played his freshman year with Klein. So
you're right. I think you might be right. Yeah, I think probably recruited him. Yeah, that makes sense. That's probably another reason why they wanted to hire him.
Yeah, it was a no-brainer. Bring him back. This is their guy. He's already worked there. He's one of the greatest players of all time. So this is an easy one to root for here.
Next up, we go to Oklahoma State and Eric Morris, the Eric Morris Agency, the former Texas Tech Mike Leach wide receiver. All right, I have a lot to say about this one. First off, he had one winning season at North Texas was last year. Now, granted, they were 11-2, and that's like the best season they've had since the Hayden Fridays with Mean Joe Green and shit.
Yeah,
he did a good job at Incarnate Word in the FCS, but they still only had 2 winning seasons there out of his 4 years. At first, I really hated on this one in my mind. I was like, I think he's not. It's almost like Kim English in basketball.
Yeah,
I was like, is he fully qualified for it? But then one of the things I do like is the continuity. And obviously he's the guy that found Cam Ward. He does Mestamaker. Like, he has an eye for talent that I think is undeniable, but the continuity, because he brings over his staff. Sean Brophy is the new AC at Oklahoma State. Sean Brophy was at North Texas as the QB coach and pass game coordinator. He wasn't their OC. Their OC is at ECU now, but somewhat of their OC, if that makes sense. He was also at Washington State with Eric Morris as well as Incarnate Word. So a lot of familiarity here with Brophy. And then defensively, this is the big one here. Was like, this is a former, Skylar Cassidy. The reason why I think we took the over on North Texas this past season was Casey Keeler, when he was at Sam Houston doing great things at Sam Houston. His DC was Skylar Cassidy. He did not want to go to Philly and Temple. He stayed in Texas, got the gig at North Texas, brought 10 of his guys in the portal, and I think they're going to do the same here. But can it all work, Mac? And will it all work? Because replacing Gundy, I think this is interesting. This is interesting here, because I thought I would have liked to seen another year of success from Morris at North Texas.
Yeah.
But I do think Skylar Cassidy is a beast defensive coordinator. So I do like that he's bringing, and I'm imagining they're going to just, we'll get to the portal episode in a couple of weeks, but they bring a bunch of guys with them.
55 North Texas guys.
Yeah.
What does Beanick always say? High variance. Eric Morris is high variance. It's definitely boom or bust. Like when he was good at IW and at North Texas, it was really damn good. But they were inconsistent. He fits. He's a Texas Tech guy. He's back in the Big 12. I kind of like the hire and bringing Cassidy right away. I like to be competitive defensively.
Yeah. The continuity side, I think, is something that they might have going there. So on first reaction, it's almost like the Sumrall situation. The more I thought about it, I was like, maybe it can work. Next up, we have Morgan Scally, the new former Ute, played for Kyle Whittingham on the defensive side of the ball. He is now their head coach. I know that things ended a little weird, but he was a fire defensive coordinator for him, and he was a good player for them. Love seeing the guy at his alma mater. Jason Beck is gone. They brought in Kevin McGivern, who was Bronco Mendenhall's OC at Utah State last year. So it's keeping the familiarity.
All these fucking Utah people.
They all just pass them around.
Passing their wives around. Hey, come on, take this.
Defensively, they promote Colton Swan to defensive coordinator, so he's familiar. He's been a Witt guy. Curious where you're at. Will this work? Obviously, things ended a little weird in Salt Lake City, but they just went to private equity. They got a shit ton of money coming in. Your thoughts?
I mean, he's been with the program for 20 plus years too.
I still, as much as I want to hate it because they push Witt out, I'm like, it's probably going to work. It
kind of reminds me of San Diego State in basketball, Fisher to Dutcher. A legend to a guy that knows the school and program as good as anybody, and it's going to be as easy a transition as it can be. Usually I'm not the biggest fan of the coach in waiting, but this one kind of makes sense. He's been there 20 years.
Yeah.
He played there. He's like another guy that's been a GA, D coordinator, position coach. Like, come on. And then McGivern, another Utah guy. Let's go.
Yeah. And Swan promoted up. I mean, yeah, it's just, it should be intriguing there. Let's jump over to that team. I think I fucked up the order on this, but maybe I didn't. Yeah, it's a perfect transition. Kyle Whittingham to Michigan. Holy shit. I did not think this was actually possible. But Michigan, after a tragic situation, was able to get a major upgrade at head coach with Kyle Whittingham coming in. And then, like I alluded to, this is where I'm really sold. Jason Beck, his offensive coordinator for 1 year, who was previously Bronco Menden's offensive coordinator at New Mexico, where he was great. Virginia, where he was great. Beck even had a great year up at Syracuse for a year. The guy, I think, can move the ball. And with Bryce Underwood waiting there, this is a gigantic get. And then the one I love is the defensive coordinator, Jay Hill. I think I've been saying this, if you listen to the FCS show for years, Jay Hill was a great coach at Weber State, took him to a lot of playoffs. When BYU hired him, I was like, BYU knows what the fuck they're doing. Jay Hill's been a Whittingham guy for a long time. If you track, before he was at Weber State, he was with Witt at Utah. So I love the coordinator hires. I'm fascinated to see this one. I actually think this might be more fascinating than fucking Franklin or Kiffin, because he's old. Whittingham is, so it's like, how old? I know he doesn't look it.
Yeah.
But your thoughts on the staff he put together, because it's pretty fucking great. A bunch of transfers came too from Utah. Your thoughts on Coach Witt in Ann Arbor?
So Witt takes Beck from Mendenhall, and then he takes Hill from Sataki. These fucking Utah programs. Shit is so fucking funny. And then obviously Bronco has ties to both, and Sataki has ties to both. So so the only thing, my hesitation with Whittingham is the Rich Rod thing once upon a time. Like, Rich Rod runs his shit his way. Is Whittingham going to run his program the certain way, and they're going to be like, no, you got to do it the Michigan way, da-da-da-da-da-da. That's the only way I think it doesn't work. Whittingham's a hell of a coach. They're going to win. It's a high floor, I think, and it's a great staff.
Underwood with Beck seems nasty.
I agree.
Like Underwood didn't have the greatest freshman season, but then again, he showed like flashes where you're just like, whoa. Right. And I think if you mix that with Beck,
who was great with Dampier.
Yeah. Yeah. And not only Dampier, Brennan Armstrong had a great year with them. I mean, Beck and Robert and I would go back, and it was just those guys. Even I'm drawing a blank on the Syracuse quarterback that put up major numbers. It might have been DeVito. I think, with them.
Chat saying they should bring Cam Rising over to Michigan.
Still got a year of eligibility, but he's guess what? Even though he's working at the post office in Salt Lake City, he's been out with an injury. Too many paper cuts. Next up,
great staff. I mean, Jay Hills is a stud.
Yeah.
Now here's the coordinator hire.
Now here's an intriguing one. We know Pat Fitzgerald got a raw deal. We were one of the only publications saying it when it happened. It seemed like bullshit, and it was proven. We were proven correct when all these other suits were just saying, "Oh, it's unacceptable." Well, Fitzgerald won in court, got a shit ton of money from Northwestern. We don't know that figure because of an NDA, but it's a weird hire, though, man. And I. All right, so you can make the case that the final couple of years at Northwestern, things were going downhill. And that was the transfer portal NIL era beginning, right?
Yep.
I'm a Fitz guy. I loved him as a player under Gary Barnett, liked him as a coach. But I do wonder, I think it's an honest question to ask, is like, how will he be in these current times? Because I know he hasn't really been super aggressive in the portal.
Yep.
He retained Joe Rossi as DC, which I think is a great move. Offensively, he goes and gets Nick staying at the Sheridan from Alabama, which this is making me think that he's changed some of his ways because he's a DeBoer guy. DeBoer's teams are offensively super fucking aggressive, but they're not super physical, which was surprising. It's a surprising hire because Sheridan was at Washington with DeBoer. He's been following him around. I think he was at Indiana with DeBoer too.
I don't really like the Sheridan hire.
I did not see that one coming, but part of me is like, maybe this is Fitz trying to be like with the current times. You know what I mean? Like maybe he's like, okay.
But they need to be more like Iowa.
Yeah.
They're not going to have the Jimmies and Joes to outgun.
Well, Michigan. They just got a gigantic donation. I think like $200 million or something.
Isn't everybody getting a gigantic?
Yeah, that's true. It seems like there's a lot of schools. There's a lot of schools doing it, but I don't know. I'm fascinated by this. I'm not sure that it's a slam dunk. As much as I'm a Fitz guy, I'm not sure it's a slam dunk.
I think he would be better not changing his ways and just being super physical, tough. But he's got better access to players now from Northwestern. I mean, he went to the Big Ten championship at Northwestern. So I know it ended sour, but that job sucks.
He turned down Notre Dame to stay at Northwestern, and they did him dirty like that.
They're ridiculous. Like, come on.
Those bitches.
Statue. He
turned down the Chicago Bears to stay at Northwestern.
Fuck, dude. I hate Northwestern. That stupid dome, too.
Yeah. Good news is that they have 2 games to start the season. You're going to catch Coach Prime taking on Northwestern Lakeside. 2 more games at Lakeside. I might have to get up to Chicago before that goes away. I'm going to try to get to that game.
Do you try to go Lakeside? I miss
Lakeside, dude. That's great.
College football's the best.
That's great. Next up, we have Chip Kelly. Speaking of Northwestern, what? Chip Kelly's back in the biz. He won a natty at Ohio State just 2 years ago, went to the Raiders and failed like he normally does in the NFL. Then he came back to college football and almost got the Georgia Tech job, but lands with Coach Braun and Northwestern. Your thoughts as Chip Kelly, Lakeside offense for a couple games and before they go to that filthy stadium? It's not a full-on dome. It's like an MLS stadium, but
never mind.
Yeah, it's still bullshit. Old Ryan Field, a lot better. Thoughts on Chip Kelly in Evanston?
Chip is so predictable. He's just great as an offensive coordinator, offensive mind in college football, and then he'll go to the NFL and he'll suck ass, and then he'll come back.
Yeah. I mean,
this would be a good hire. I
think it's a good hire, dude. I think it's like
everywhere.
We just talked about Mark Turgeon to UMKC in college basketball.
Yeah.
They out hit their coverage here. Like this
is Northwestern. Yeah.
Well, imagine if Brown struggles and and I like Brown. I think he's actually a really good coach. But if they fire him, then it's like, oh, we have Chip Kelly. I know he doesn't want to be a head coach at UCLA. Maybe he does at Northwestern. I don't know. Yeah. I didn't see this one coming either. This one came out of the fucking blue. Yeah. Intriguing. Next up, we have Arthur Smith looking like a fat Nick Cage in this shot here. I can't believe Nick Cage is playing Madden. The fuck? In that new movie. But Arthur Smith, NFL guy, Ohio State's new OC. It worked on defense. Matt Patricia. So Ryan Day says, "Hey, why not? Let me get an NFL guy to run." I feel like at Ohio State though, because they lose Hartline. He's the new head coach of South Florida. We'll talk about him next week. They could have. You could pick up the homeless man.
They could hire one of us.
Yeah. So, I think it'll work, even though I'm not in love with it.
I wasn't in love with Patricia either, but it worked. So I'll trust Day. They got enough players. It's hard to fuck this up.
Yeah. Oregon, they're going to have new coordinators offensively and defensively, but they hired and promoted from within, as Dan Lanning kind of knows what he's doing here. Drew Millringer promoted to the Ducks OC, and defensively, Chris Hampton promoted to the DC. I kind of think it'll work. It's Oregon. They're bringing back Dante Moore. They went out and got Raiola, who is out. He's injured for a lot of the season, I think, next year, but they have a fuck you money. Like, to me, they've been able to sit there and see Stein. Mike Loxley would work at Ohio State. That's correct.
Or Oregon. He'd work in Oregon.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think these hires will work. They were there a while. Yeah. So they got to see how Lapoy and Stein were doing it. So you a skeptic at all on any of these?
No, Lanning has doing what Kirby did. Kirby did what Saban did. They like, when you have that much talent, you have your way of doing your business. You get your guys, you push them to their different jobs. Lapoy gets the Cal job. Stein gets the Kentucky job. Promote within. These guys will probably be head coaches in 2-3 years.
Yeah. Shout out to them. Congrats to them.
Yeah.
Matt Campbell to Penn State. I know you were sad to see him leave Ames.
I know. I hated that they got him.
Matt Campbell to Penn State. He brings his OC, Taylor Mauser, who famous. Shout out to Taylor Mauser. His fiance did not like when he took the job in Ames with Matt Campbell and gave him an ultimatum. He chose correctly because now he is the offensive coordinator at Penn State.
Yeah. Sit down, broad.
Yeah. So shout out to you, Taylor. And it was either a long-term girlfriend or fiance. I can't remember. So
hold your ground, brother.
My apologies, but you did well.
Yeah.
You're already a rich man. You're going to be even richer in the future. All right. Just stick around, Matt Campbell. You're doing fine.
Yeah. You'll be a head coach of the Big 12 in 5 years. I think he's doing all right.
Defensively, they go and get DeAnton Lynn from USC, who I think is a really good defensive coordinator. He did a great job at UCLA back with Chip Kelly. Is the shoe going to fit? Because Matt Campbell did play a year at Pitt. He's familiar with Pennsylvania. He's an Ohio boy, played at Mount Union most of his career, but did play at Pitt way back in the day, I think under Walt Harris, if memory serves me correct. Will it work in State College?
Yeah, he's a winner, and he's been in that area. Now, here's the only thing I will push back on Matt Campbell. Is it a little bit of the same as James Franklin? Like, just a really good ball coach that potentially can't win the big national championship that Penn State wants?
This is fascinating because I'm a big Matt Campbell guy. But if you look at it, he would recruit these like 2 stars at Iowa State and make him that. He's not going to be given that. And also, I think when you're at a loser, Iowa State historically has been a shitty program before he arrived.
Yep.
They're happy, even if you go 6-6 or 7-5, because he would lose some close games some years, right?
The Hunter.
He's not going to be afforded that in state college. So I'm fascinated. Like as much as I am a Matt Campbell guy, and I think he's a great football coach, I could see a scenario where this doesn't work.
I could see them going 8-4 a lot.
Yeah, which is like that's what I'm saying, dude.
Continuation of the Franklin, but different version where they lose a bunch of close games. Maybe they're not as talented compared to Franklin. It's like, dude, your talent is loaded. You just couldn't get over the hump. So yeah, it's fascinating. Yeah, I hated that they ended up because I thought they were going to strike out and have a shit hire. Matt Campbell, the bottom's not going to fall out at Penn State. They'll be 8-4 at least.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like, I love Campbell. Yeah, that's what I'm saying is like we'll see. I think it's fascinating. So we'll see. Hopefully they win an Natty. Penn State fans are great. So, but at the same time, I could see a scenario with the way you ran Franklin out where, you're 8-4, you're 7-5, and that shit ain't cutting it. Yeah. So
even 9-3 or 10-2 if they lose Ohio State again or in Michigan.
Next up we have this one I'm sold on. I think this is one of the better hires. Yeah, we host the FCS show. I've done it for years. I thought what he did at Holy Cross was one of the best coaching jobs like in the past decade in college football. They beat like a couple of FBS schools at Holy Cross.
Yep.
He takes JMU to the playoffs. They put up 500 yards of offense at Oregon. Whether they whatever you want to say. Other schools couldn't do that. Chesney to UCLA, I think, is a fucking home run. I can't believe UCLA got him. To tell you the truth, I thought I thought UCLA wasn't smart enough to take a fucking guy like Chesney from JMU. He brings with him, Mac, his OC, Dean Kennedy from JMU.
Mm-hmm.
His DC, Colin Hitchler from JMU. I think it's going to work, man.
It will.
I think this is the best hire they've had since Mora, probably.
Probably. I mean, Chip Kelly was a good hire, too.
Yeah, I think it's even better, though. I think like he has the potential to really – I think he's a really good football coach, man.
And he's young.
Yeah.
I mean, how old is he now? 48? So, I mean, he's not even 50 yet. So, we've already seen a coach go from JMU to a Big Ten program and turn him into a natty champion in 2 years. So, I'm not saying UCLA is going to win the national championship in 2 years, but I think they're going to invest. And I think Chesney has a good eye for talent coming from Holy Cross to JMU, and he's a culture guy. I mean, you see the way Signetti talks about him. He's got a lot of respect for fucking Chesney. So I'm all in on this hire too. I think UCLA's going to be – they might be better than USC here.
Dude, I think this is – well, I don't know. USC has the top recruiting class coming in, but we'll talk about that in a second. But Chesney, I think, is a great fucking hire. Stay at the Rose Bowl because the Rose Bowl fans deserve success with Chesney. Get your SoFi shit out of here. SoFi with Chesney's disgusting.
You think he bought those shades right there for UCLA? Look at that.
Look at that. He's fucking on Laguna Beach. He's out on Laguna Beach right now. He's somewhere down there in California on the beach. Speaking of USC,
Gary Patterson,
the number one recruiting class, and also, I can't believe they were able to talk Gary Patterson out of retirement. He's the new defensive coordinator at USC. Is this the only school in the nation where the defensive coordinator is a better head coach than your head coach? This is a monster hire. I couldn't believe they were able to give him this. And I saw his press conference and said, I'm glad I'm not in charge of the NIL. My job is strictly coach defense.
Yeah.
And that's what I'll do. Look, Gary Patterson, he was the best man at Jerry Kill's wedding. Any of those motherfuckers are coaching football, I buy in. All right? This is a monster hire to me. It's a fucking monster hire to me. I think it's going to work, dude. It's going to work.
Are the DCs better head coaches at both Texas and USC?
Texas, I'm not sure because Patterson, I think, is like they have a statue of him. Muschamp's been all over the place as a fucking head coach.
I could see like if things just don't work out with Lincoln Riley or Sarkisian, hey, we'll just slide them up.
Now Northwestern, you might be able to say Chip Kelly's better than Braun.
Yeah,
this is going to be fascinating to watch, man. This is going to be fascinating to watch.
I like the fit out there.
Yeah, I think this is
He's got
what a fucking. How is he not a head coach somewhere? I guess he doesn't want to deal with the drama, but man, what a.
He's Chip Kelly of the defensive side. I just want to coach ball.
Well, we got to get out of here, but I got some questions for you, buddy.
There we go.
On the way out. All right, going back to the database top 25 style.
Land down under.
Land down under, right here. All right, which former player at their alma mater will work best? Tosh Lupoi at Cal, Colin Klein at Kansas State, Pritchard at Stanford, Scarlet at Utah, and rank them as far as like how well they're due, like as far as like being there. Like which one gets fired first out of those four?
I don't know if any of them are going to get fired. Like the more
not this year, but I'm saying 4 or 5 years down the road. Yeah,
probably Pritchard would be the most likely. I don't know, maybe just because Stanford and then Lupoi, but I love the two Big 12 ones. Colin Klein, I think that he's going to be a superstar back at K-State, but I think Scally's the best one. I mean, he's been there with Whittingham for 20 years. He's the oldest out of these guys.
John, shout out to John in the chat saying Klein will be the first to get fired. Whoa.
Right.
Yeah, he's pushing back on your take there. He says Lupoi and Pritchard are going to be fine in the Bay Area. How about this one?
Good, yeah.
Which Big 12 new hire will make the Big 12 championship first? Eric Morris at Oklahoma State, Colin Klein at Kansas State, Jimmy Rogers, Iowa State, Morgan Scalley at Utah.
Colin Klein. He's the best quarterback.
I actually was thinking Scalley, but Klein, I think you're right. One of those two, right?
Yeah.
Oh, John's saying Klein will be the best, so I apologize. Yeah. He's not pushing back on you. Shout out to the chat.
The other I mean, Eric Morris is such a high variance one. And then Rogers, I think, will just be solid. 7-8 wins every year.
Next up, which OC will have the biggest impact on the 2026 season? Which new hire OC? Jason Beck at Michigan, Kendall Briles at South Carolina, Brendan Marion at Colorado, Buster Faulkner at Florida.
It's got to be Beck. With Underwood, that's going to be fun as shit to watch.
I think you're right. Faulkner made me hesitate a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I was like, he could be nasty because he's bringing over his QB from Georgia Tech, the backup.
I feel like the Marion thing's going to be a bust.
Could be. I mean, unless their interim head, if he was the next head coach, I actually would kind of be on board with that.
Yeah.
Because I think he did enough at Sac State where I think he's decent. Next up, which DC hire will have the biggest impact on 26? It's supposed to be Ron Roberts, not Rob Roberts. My apologies. At Arkansas, Jay Hill at Michigan, Patterson at USC, Muschamp at Texas.
Gary Patterson at USC. I think that's a culture change type hire. They're going to be tough, I think. I hope.
I think I would agree with you there, too. So I guess these questions are a little easier. All right, which SEC coach will be fired first out of all the new hires? You got Sumrall. I don't know if it's that easy because fucking Auburn is ridiculous. LSU's ridiculous. To me, the ones I feel, even Florida's ridiculous. So, like, I feel best about Stein being able to stay because I think Kentucky will actually give him the years. I think Arkansas might give Silverfield the years. So, as much as Silverfield feels like the deer in the cage here, I think, to me, it's a tricky question. I think Kiffin or Golesh could be the correct answer.
It could be Golding.
Yeah, that too.
Golding,
they have money. They put together money. They put together money, so it could be Golding.
I'm going Pete Golding. I think they hit lightning in a bottle. It was cute. I think they come back down to earth. Then I would go.
I'm going Lane Kiffin.
I think that thing's gonna be really good. But I mean, if it does suck, he will be the first fire because they're fucking.
It doesn't even have to suck. If he just goes 9-3 for like 2 or 3 straight years, he'll be gone. So I'm gonna go Lane Kiffin.
He'll have a sex scandal will leak out if he goes 9-3 back to back.
All right, land down under. Will James Franklin make the college football playoffs at Virginia Tech before Penn State and Matt Campbell make the college football playoffs?
Yes. Easier path.
I think you're right. But more teams get in from the Big Ten. So it's tricky. It's tricky.
I just think Virginia Tech, though, I think they have a nice path to win it.
Yeah. great home field advantage. I mean, Penn State does too, but I think the Big Ten is much more difficult. Although Penn State has a nice schedule this year one with Rocco Beck there coming in. If he can get there this next year, you may see Crow. But after that, I do worry because a lot of those other teams loading up. So, final one. Who will have more wins? Morgan Scalley at Utah next year or Kyle Whittingham at Michigan?
Doesn't Michigan have a bear of a schedule?
I think they do have a tougher schedule than Utah. I do
Give me
believe
Utah.
so.
Give me Utah by one game. 10-2 versus 9-3.
There we go. Folks, we are the College Football Experience. Next week, we will have the group of 5 loaded up for you. Moneyline Max on Twitter at Moneyline_Mac. I'm on Twitter at DColbyD. The College Basketball Experience is on Twitter at the College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. YouTube.com/the College Experience. Hit that like and subscribe button. We got college basketball talking about 2 hours. All right, so buckle up. This is the College Football Experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we are out of here.
Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot.